Welcome to the FedLife podcast with Dan Sipe from Serving Those Who Serve. In this podcast, Dan draws from years of financial experience to help federal employees overcome challenges that every Fed can relate to. Join us for this journey as we reach, teach, and serve to help you make the right financial decisions. Now, on to the show.
Hello and welcome to this episode of the FedLife podcast. Once again, I am your host, Dan Sipe. Additionally, I'm the branch manager here at Serving Those Who Serve and Sipe and Associates. I will begin, as I always do, by saying thank you. Thank you for taking the time to listen, and even more importantly, thank you for your service to me, to the country, to every citizen here at large. You do not hear that enough. You will always hear it here. The other thing you're almost always going to hear with us here is Ed Zurndorfer, because he's back once again. Yes, the guru is here as part of our ongoing mission to reach, teach, and serve you. At the outset, I need to say the opinions of our guest, Ed Zurndorfer, are not the opinions of Raymond James or Serving Those Who Serve. And this podcast is presented for information only and is not intended to be taken as advice. All listeners should consult their personal advisors before taking any action. And if you do not have a personal advisor, hit us up at Serving Those Who Serve, stwserve.com. We will help you any way we can. Once again, we are going to follow Ed's FedZone articles. He writes every week there at fed-zone.com. This is one more way that we can reach and teach. But wait, don't forget, if you have not subscribed, make sure you subscribe to the weekly serving. Every single week, we deliver the best of Ed, best of Jen Meyer, best of Benefits Ben, occasionally yours truly, right to your inbox. Do not miss out. You'll see a subscription information on our YouTube page with this podcast. Sign up for it. Well, today, Ed, we are back to Secure 2.0 and talking about the interplay between 529 plans and Roth IRAs, two great tastes that were never together before. And then we're going to jump into how 2.0 impacts Roth TSP participants. So let's jump in and let's do a quick recap of the 529s for folks who might not be familiar.
Okay, 529 plans have been around for, I think, about 30, 35 years. And there are actually two types of plans. One are the guaranteed tuition plans in which a parent or grandparent puts money into a state college sponsored plan, and they contribute to it so that the tuition that their child or grandchild is going to be paid will be there by the time they turn 18 years old. That's one type of plan. The other type of plan is called a college savings plan, a 529 college savings plans, in which the parent, the grandparent, puts money into the plan, invested like you would do in a mutual fund. The money grows. The money being put in does not it's after tax dollars. There might be some state tax credits, never any federal tax credits. And then the money that's in the plan will accrue earnings over time. And when that money is withdrawn to pay for college expenses, the money will come out tax-free. The contributions we know are already taxed, but the earnings accrued over time that have not been taxed will not be taxed, provided when they're withdrawn to pay for the child's grandchild's college will not be taxed. So that's simply what a college savings plan is. And there's several companies offer these plans. There's no lack of brokerages and so on that offer these plans. But the point, Dan, is that over the years, people have put money in those plans. And now it turns out that maybe a parent or grandparent overfunded the plan.
Sure. Or maybe the kid is super smart and got a scholarship.
Or maybe the child says, I don't want to go to college.
Oh, they never say that, do they?
Well,
never mind. That's the topic for another day.
Well, in my day, they did, because I was, unfortunately, that was at the Vietnam War era, in which the only way you can get a deferment is to go to college.
Gotcha.
But that's neither here nor there. But now some children simply do not want to go to college. It's understandable. Okay.
Sure.
So here, the parent, the grandparent has leftover funds in the 529 plan that in which the child is the beneficiary. So if the child or the grandparent takes the money out and uses it something for other than college expenses, they would have to pay tax on the earnings and a 10% withdrawal penalty, any money left over. Well, thanks to Secure Act 2.0, there is an alternative now for any excess funds left in the college 529 savings plan. And what is that? What is that option? The child, the money left over can be rolled over to a Roth IRA. Now, we talked about this during our last podcast. I think I may have given wrong information.
Okay.
And what I thought I said was that the money can go into the parents' or grandparents' 529 plan. No, it has to go into the child's Roth IRA. Well, that's great, because let's think about a 22-year-old, Dan. Suppose you have, let's say, $10,000 left over, and it's going to go into a Roth IRA, and the child cannot touch it for at least 40 years. Can you think of some investments that would grow tax-free over time? Would it be unreasonable to say that $10,000 might triple, might quadruple by the time that child's 62?
Absolutely.
And guess what? All that money coming out of the child of that child's 529 plan, now adults now a Roth plan, I should say, Roth IRA, will come out tax-free. This is a great way for the child to start saving for their retirement.
Absolutely, Ed. And Ed, am I correct that this also, I've had parents and grandparents over time say, hey, I want to get my kids started off right. Can I open a Roth for them? And my answer is always, well, they have any income. So this is not going to be dependent on the child having income for that to move over. Is that correct?
That is correct. But as we're going to find out here in a few moments, there are limitations.
Sure.
How much can be transferred from the 529 plan, leftover money each year in the name of the child. We're going to talk about
that's a great segue. Let's talk about those rules because there's a 15-year rule, right?
A 15-year rule. And actually, before we do that, Dan, I'd like to share the example I put in that Fed Zone column.
Please do.
Because I think it really bears the point here, what's going on here. I try to make, in my columns, I try to give examples to make it more understandable. Okay. So here we have someone named Alicia. She entered college as a first-year student in September 2018. She was a beneficiary of a $120,000 529 college savings plan that was funded by her grandfather, who contributed. Mm-hmm. Her grandfather put a total of $95,000 into that 529 plan on behalf of his granddaughter. During the next 4 years, Alicia took out $100,000 from the $120,000 that was there. Now, remember, it grew to $120,000. The grandfather put in $95,000, so they got about $25,000 of earnings. Okay, so all that $110,000, since it was used to pay for Alicia's college expenses, came out tax-free. Okay, Alicia graduated this past June 2020 as a senior. She wanted to go to work. She didn't want to go to graduate school because she could have used that $20,000 balance in that 529 plan for graduate school. But Alicia says, I'm going to stop. I'm not going to school now. I want to go to work. Gotcha. So when Alicia graduated in June 2022, she decided to enter the workforce without any subsequent higher education. If the requirements as detailed in Secure Act 2.0 are met, the excess $20,000 in Alicia's 529 college savings plan could be taken out of the 529 account and rolled over to a Roth IRA for Alicia. Here, Alicia is 22 years old. She's starting off with a $20,000 account balance in her Roth IRA.
Sure.
The earliest age that Alicia could take that money out of that Roth IRA would be 59 and a half. That's almost 40 years.
Sure.
But the point is, she's going to have years of potential tax-free growth ahead of her. Okay. This is an excellent way for Alicia to start saving for retirement, but to achieve this outcome, several requirements must be met. And now we'll talk about those requirements, Dan.
Gotcha. So first up in your article, you talk about the 15-year rule.
Yeah, here's the 15-year rule. In order to perform a 529 college savings plan to Roth IRA rollover, the 529 account must have been in existence for at least 15 years. Okay? So let's get back to Alicia and her grandfather. Her grandfather had to have started this college savings plan on behalf of Alicia when Alicia was probably 3 or 4 years old. Okay, that's because that would be the time frame here. You know, by the time she went to college at 18, the money was there, was have contributed. So he had to start at least when Alicia was 3 or 4 years old. Okay, it's called a 15-year rule. Okay. Actually, it doesn't have to be 3 or 4 years. As long as by the time the money has been used up, by the time the college is graduating from college, which is normally age 22, that would fulfill the 15-year rule. Okay. I just want to mention something, but when opening a 529 account for a child or grandchild, it may have been met, I should say. When, let's say, Alicia the account was opened up when she was actually 10 years old.
Sure.
She ended her undergraduate when she was 22. So
Right.
she was actually using that money from the 529 plan until she was 22. So
Right.
in reality, she would have 3 more years to use that money. Okay. If the account was opened up when she was 10,
she got to wait until she's 25 before she could.
She would have to wait until she's 25 to roll the money over to Roth IRA.
Gotcha.
Okay. She doesn't have to do it right away. That's the point. You have actually until age 30 to use that money up if you're the beneficiary. So she just leaves it alone in the 529 plan until she's 25. The plan was opened up when she was 10. She would fulfill the 15-year rule.
Yep. And then you also note that there's only so much you can do each year. Yes.
Okay. There's an annual limit. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. So assuming we fulfilled the 15-year rule, okay, the beneficiary, in case Alicia is limited as to the amount of the 529 account that can be rolled over to a Roth IRA from 1 year to next. And that annual limit falls into the rules for the annual Roth IRA contribution. For example, this year in 2023, okay, let's assume that this account Alicia has is at least 15 years old. How much can Alicia contribute to a Roth IRA for 2023? Remember, Alicia is working, so she's entitled to contribute to a Roth IRA.
Gotcha. $6,500.
$6,500. Okay. Let's say next year in 2024, the Roth IRA contribution goes up to $8,000. $8,000 for individuals under the age, we should say for individuals under the age of 50. Okay. That means that Alicia, assuming she has earned income, she's working, she can put $8,000 into that from her 529 account rolled over to Roth IRA and so on. Okay. Another possibility is that Alicia could say, well, I'm going to roll over, let's say $3,000 from my 529 account during 2023. Okay. And I'm just going to contribute from my own money $3,500 into my Roth IRA. She makes a contribution. Okay. So why am I suggesting this may happen? Let's say that Alicia has some cash flow problems in 2023. She can't afford to put the $6,500 into a Roth IRA. She can't do that. So she is going to maybe make lesser of a contribution on her own to a Roth IRA. So she's entitled to a maximum $6,500 contribution. So she puts $3,000 into the Roth IRA via a contribution, and the other $3,500 can come from the rollover of the 529 plan. Okay.
Sure.
So the overall limit is whatever an individual's contribution limit is for the year. If you contribute the maximum on your own, make a contribution, that means that you cannot roll over any money from the 529 plan.
Gotcha. And also, you indicate in your article, there's a lifetime maximum for what could be moved over, correct?
And that lifetime maximum, Dan, is $35,000. And I want to point out, there's no indexing to inflation. It's a flat $35,000. Okay.
Sure. And then you wisely include, to kind of round out the article, the possibility of successor 529 beneficiaries. What's the impact there?
Yeah, Dan, this is something that's in the back of my mind. It was not clear for me from reading the law that, let's say, there is one of the things you can do when it comes to your beneficiary in the 529 plan. Let's say Alicia has a younger brother.
Sure.
And Alicia says, I am not going to college. I'm not going to continue my education. I'm going to go to work. Then her grandfather can make Alicia's brother as the beneficiary of the 529 plan, of the whatever's left over in the 529 plan. We said that Alicia had $20,000 left over. Well, now the beneficiary is going to shift to Alicia's brother, and
Gotcha.
He can use that money to pay for college. Now, suppose some reason, let's say her brother only lasts in college 1 year. He decides to leave, to not go to college. Maybe he wants to join the workforce. So now he used up, let's say, $5,000 of the $20,000. Now we have $15,000 left over of the original 529 college plan. It's not clear whether Alicia's brother will be able to roll over the $15,000 to a Roth IRA. It is not clear. It's not clear. We got to wait for additional guidance from IRS about that.
Sure. Well, folks, continue to stay tuned here, because I guarantee you when Ed Zurndorfer starts looking for something, he does not stop until he finds it. So he will keep digging in on that. All right, Ed, we've been waiting for it. Let's dive in to what Secure 2.0 means for our feds with Roth TSP. And folks, I will also throw a plug in here. You absolutely need to go to the Fed Zone, fed-zone.com, and read Ed's article too, because the examples in here are dynamite. So take it away, Ed.
Okay, this particular column on the Secure Act, the Secure Act 2.0 eliminating RMDs to Roth retirement plans is coming out this week. This is the week of February the 13th. It'll be out sometime, probably later this week, February 17th, February 16th, 17th, but it'll be up there at the Fed Zone, www.fed-zone.com. So we're going to be talking about what's in that column. And I think, Dan, the best way to talk about this is go back to what we were talking about in another podcast about the TSP RMD. Just to review here, for those individuals who may not have been able to listen to that podcast. When a federal employee retires, either CSRS or FERS, they are no longer required, they're no longer allowed to contribute to the TSP. they retire from federal service, they don't have to take money out of the TSP until they reach what's called the required beginning date.
Yep.
And the required beginning date is changing as part of Secure Act 2.0. Let's just say your required beginning date, depending on what year you're born, if you're born before July 1st, 1949, and you're retired from federal service, your required beginning date was, because you've reached that age, was April 1st following the year that you turned 70 and a half.
Sure.
If you were born between June 30th, 1949 and December 31st, 1950, your required beginning date is April 1st following the year that you turned 72. If you were born between January 1st, 1951 and December 31st, 1959, your required beginning date is April 1st following the year that you turn 73. And finally, if you're born anytime after December 31st, 1959, your required beginning date is April 1st following the year that you turn 75. So those were it. Now, what is this all about when it comes to the TSP RMD? When you reach your required beginning date, and again, you are retired from federal service, you are required to take a required minimum distribution from your TSP. The TSP calculates that RMD. You don't have to worry. You don't have to do it yourself. They send you a notice every January what your RMD is for that year. And the question is, how does the TSP calculate the RMD? Well, the TSP does the following. They take, for in a particular year, your RMD, they look at your account balance as of December 31st of the prior year. When I say your account balance, I'm including both your traditional TSP account, whatever your balance is as of that December 31st, and the balance in your Roth TSP account as of December 31st. Yep. Add the two together, divide that amount by what's called a life expectancy factor to come up with your RMD for that particular year. Okay?
Gotcha.
So let's do an example here. Always helps to do examples. So the example is this. We have someone named Jason. Jason is retired from federal service. He is 75 years old this year. Okay? So his required beginning date was April 1st following the year he turned 70 and a half. He is retired from federal service. So he started his TSP RMDs and he must continue his RMDs. Okay? So as of December 31st, 2022, Jason had a total balance in his TSP account of $1.2 million, Dan, of which $900,000 was in Jason's traditional TSP account. He had a $900,000 traditional TSP account balance as of December 31st, 2022, and Jason had $300,000 in his Roth TSP account, his balance as of December 31st, 2022. Add the two together, Dan, 900,000 plus 300,000 makes 1.2 million.
Yep.
His life expectancy factor, it comes from the IRS, it's called the Uniform Lifetime Expectancy Table, is 24.6 years. So without going to the gory details here too much, Jason's 2023 TSP RMD is $48,780, 48780, that he must take out no later than December 31st, 2023. And if he doesn't take it out, by the way, Dan, by early December, the TSP will take it out automatically.
I know that. Yep.
Okay. That's a very good thing that TSP does, because, you know, the penalty, by the way, for not taking your RMD, whether it's traditional, whether it's for your traditional IRA or you have a retirement plan RMD, the penalty, I should say, until Secure Act 2.0 is 50%. Ouch.
Ouch. Very definitely.
Okay. But that won't happen to a TSP participant, because the TSP automatically will send that RMD no later than the second week of December. Okay. All right. All right. So, and all this, by the way, all this information is found about the TSP RMD as well as TSP withdrawals. TSP has a publication entitled "Tax Rules About TSP Payments," in which they talk about tax rules about everything regarding withdrawals from the TSP, including the RMD. Okay.
Sure.
All right. Now, I got to tell you, Dan, that that really bothers me, that the fact that the TSP is including the Roth TSP account balance in the calculation of the TSP RMD.
Sure.
And let me give you my feelings here. And I have advised federal retirees about this, that when it comes to your Roth TSP, one of the options you have when it comes to your Roth TSP, after you retire from federal service, you are allowed to transfer your Roth TSP account to a Roth IRA tax-free, no tax consequences. And the person says to me, I'm advising, what's the big deal? I can take the money out of the Roth TSP tax-free. I can take the money out of the Roth IRA tax-free. The difference is that the Roth IRA, until the passage of Secure Act 2.0, is the only type of retirement account that is not subject to RMD. You can name any retirement account you want. It could be TSP, it could be a 401k plan. They all have RMD requirements. So the person I'm talking to says, what is that going to buy me? Well, one thing, you don't have to take the RMD, but from the Roth IRA. But keep in mind that if you don't do this and you roll over your Roth TSP, you don't roll over your Roth TSP Roth IRA, that Roth TSP account balance that you have will be used in the calculation of your TSP RMD.
Yes.
Let's go back to Jason here.
This is going to be an ouch. I can feel this coming, Ed. It's going to be an ouch.
And that's why I do these examples. I want people to get the ouch. Okay.
Yep.
I want them to feel the ouch. Okay. All right. So TSP, the way they work when it comes to TSP account owners who have both a traditional and a Roth account, when they want to make withdrawals in general, the TSP account, the participant has the option of telling the TSP, please only take my distribution from my traditional TSP account. Leave my Roth account alone. They have that option. But if they don't specify that, how will the TSP withdraw the money out of the account? They'll take it out pro rata according to the account balance. Let's talk about Jason here. Jason doesn't make a specification how he wants to receive that $48,780.49 TSP RMD for the year 2023.
Gotcha.
So what the TSP is going to do is they're going to take it out pro rata according to Jason's account balance as of December 31st. Remember, he had $900,000 in the traditional TSP and $300,000 Roth TSP. So here's how the TSP is going to do this. They're going to form a ratio for the 900,000 divided by 1.2 million, which is 75%. They multiply 0.75% times the $48,780.49. So $36,585.37 will be deducted from Jason's traditional TSP account. Okay. And the $36,585.37 is fully taxable and included in Jason's 2023 income, which it should be. Okay.
Gotcha. Yep.
Now, the $300,000 Roth TSP account balance is going to come into play as follows. TSP is going to form a ratio, 300,000 divided by 1.2 million, which is 25%. They multiply 25%, 0.25 times $48,780.49 equals $12,195.12. So that's going to be deducted from where, Dan? From Jason's Roth TSP account.
Yep.
Will the $12,195.12 be included in Jason's 2023 income?
Shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be.
Yep.
Okay, it shouldn't be. But the point is that $12,195.12 is coming out of Jason's Roth TSP account, meaning it's going to stop growing.
Correct.
Tax-free. Ouch.
Very ouch.
Well, Jason and I had a meeting. I wish I know this. I know Jason.
Okay.
I said, Jason, this is not good. So Jason says, did you say I have the option of notifying the TSP that I only want the money coming out of my traditional TSP account? I said, you certainly do. Oh, in that case, I want to tell them, leave my Roth account alone. Take out the $36,585.30, and then I'm done. Not true. Not true. Because your RMD for 2023 is $48,780.49. They're going to take the $48,780.49 out of your traditional TSP. Even though you said, even though reality, they could make it $36,595 and then $12,000. You told them to take it entirely, the $48,780.49 out of your Roth TSP, of your traditional TSP. Now you're going to have to pay tax on the full $48,780.49.
That's a bigger ouch.
That means an additional $12,195.12 more income to Jason for 2023. Do you think that's going to have effect on taxes?
Yes.
Yeah, it is. Okay. We talked about in a previous podcast this thing called bracket creep. You know, your tax bracket creep. You're maybe pushed into a higher tax bracket. We talked about maybe paying more for Medicare Part B income tiers, go over by $1. We talked about the net investment income tax. Okay. All these things.
Sure.
When in fact, this is not necessary. This is what bothers me, because if Jason would have gotten the word about this option of rolling over the 300,000 of his Roth TSP to Roth IRA, he wouldn't be in this position.
Absolutely.
This is where planning comes in. This is so crucial. This is
100%.
so crucial. So, but with the passage of Secure Act 2.0, effective January 1st, listen up, 2024.
Yep.
It'll take effect next year. The TSP, although they have not come out and said this yet, I follow their on their website, all the announcements. They have not come out and said this yet, that they will not include the Roth TSP account balance as of December 31st in all RMDs starting January 1st, 2024. So this is
an improvement. That is an improvement, but this transitional year, some people could really get pinched.
Yeah, and if you if you are taking TST RMDs now, because you have to 2023, keep in mind they're going to use your TSP account balance, your Roth TSP account balance as of December 31st, 2020. There's no way around this. And if you ask me the question that, well, could I roll over my Roth TSP account now to a Roth IRA now? won't do you any good, because as of December 31st, 2022, you had a Roth TSP account. They're looking at your account balance as of December 31st, 2022. It's too late to do that transfer.
Gotcha. No, that makes sense. Now, as you always do it, I see you end this on a high note in your article by pointing out the higher catch-up, even for the Roth, for Fed 60 to 63. So yes, that's a great benefit.
Yeah, this is going to be effective starting in 2024. That first of all, the catch-up contribution will now be indexed to inflation. Until now, it has not been. Okay, but the other opportunity is for those federal employees who are 60, 61, 62, and 63. They are allowed to put more money into the Roth TSP via the catch-up contribution, because the catch-up contribution will be increased to, only for these individuals, the greater of $10,000.
Gotcha.
Or 150% of what the actual catch-up contribution is for everybody else. Like, for example, this year in 2023, the catch-up contribution has increased to $7,500. If you take $150,000, 150% of 7,500, you come up with $11,250.
Sure.
So in 2024, that means that someone who is 60, 61, 62, 63 can put $11,250 of catch-up contributions into the Roth TSP.
Gotcha. And Ed, this isn't in your article, but it's out there. At this moment, there's still no movement from TSP to allow matching contributions to be Roth. Is that correct?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen, Dan. That's my gut feeling, and I'm not blaming the TSP. The reason that the matching contributions cannot be Roth, it's an IRS ruling, because those matching contributions that the agency makes, right now they are going into the traditional TSP.
Yep.
And therefore are going to be included, as therefore will be taxed when they're taken out.
Right.
If the agency would make Roth TSP matching contributions, and they're going to come out tax free, how do you adjust the taxes of where's the tax going to be paid? In terms of this benefit that the employee's getting. They're going to have to adjust their compensation somehow to take that into account. Okay. In other words, they're going to have to increase the compensation by the amount of the Roth contribution. There has to be an adjustment. It would be mind-boggling, to tell you the truth, to figure this out.
No, that makes sense. Well, Brother Ed, you've done it again. You've taken a super complicated and chewy topic, and you've made it accessible and down to earth. And I can't thank you enough for that and what you're doing for the feds and for us at Serving Those Who Serve, folks. Remember, there's only one Ed Zurndorfer. There's only one Serving Those Who Serve. So if you're not with us, you're somewhere else. Well, folks, that's a wrap. We will see you all at our next podcast. We are Serving Those Who Serve. Please be sure to subscribe to this podcast on the YouTube channel and Spotify. Remember to share it with your friends and strangers. Check us out on Twitter and LinkedIn. Don't forget the live webinars every week. Head over to swserve.com. You'll see the blue webinar button that turns red when you touch it. Click it, and you will see our entire menu. That's all the opportunities that you could possibly want for Ed to come to you, reach you where you are, teach you where you are, serve you where you are. Sign up for one, sign up for all. Share that page with your friends. Be sure to read Ed every week in the Fed Zone. As I touched on before, that's fed-zone.com. And don't forget to sign up for that weekly serving. Ed and the Fed Stars will come to you. So, signing off for Ed, the crew at Serving Those Who Serve, and me, Dan Sipe. Remember, good luck, Godspeed, and above all, it's your Fed life. Please, please, please make it a great one, because you deserve it. Stay well, everybody. We are out.
Thank you for listening to the FedLife Podcast. Click the subscribe button below to be notified when new episodes become available. The information covered and posted represents the views and opinions of the guest and does not necessarily represent the views or opinions of Serving Those Who Serve or Raymond James. The content has been made available for informational and educational purposes only. The content is not intended to be a substitute for professional investing advice. Always seek the advice of your financial advisor or other qualified financial service provider with any questions you may have regarding your investment planning. Securities offered through Raymond James Financial Services Incorporated, member FINRA SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through Raymond James Financial Services Advisors Incorporated. Serving Those Who Serve is not a registered broker-dealer and is independent of Raymond James Financial Services.
Raymond James is not affiliated with and does not endorse the opinions or services of the quoted professionals or their respective organizations.